Hey guys, this is Lotus Comics Press. We're here live in Tulsa, guys. Now, hey, this is like the place of where dreams are made of. You have UHF, you have The Outsiders, you have all kinds of different films that are made. And today we're here live with Zach. Is it pronounced Callison?
Callison.
Is it Callison?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's Scottish or something. I should probably check that.
Which is pretty awesome, man. I love the last name.
Thanks, man. Yeah, real name. I didn't do the stage name thing. I just like, oh, well, that one's good enough. I'll stick with it.
And he plays the voice of Steven from Steven Universe, guys. Now let's getting right down to the interview. How's it going today, man?
Good. I mean, I just got in late last night from London, back on the trail. I get back to LA on Sunday, so just here to visit my Midwest people. It's been a minute since I've been back to the heartland. I'm from Missouri originally, so.
Very cool, man.
Yeah,
Very cool.
Thank you.
I've heard you do. Let's see. Name it off. You've done acting. You've done voice acting.
Yeah.
You've done musicals.
Yeah.
You've been Billy Batson, which is Shazam, which is my favorite.
Superhero street cred, yeah.
And out of all things, Steven Universe.
It's been a varied career, man. I've been blessed. I played a Disney Prince on Sophia the First. I've been able to put out an album and go on tour, and you know, there's a lot of cool things in there. I played a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle for like one day. It was so many little random things that have been really cool experiences.
No, I've heard in Steven Universe you've done like 4 or 5 voices. I mean, it wasn't just Steven that you did, but it was like 4 or 5 different characters and stuff like that.
I mean, that's common with regular casts of animation shows to do, miscellaneous voices to keep costs down for production. So Onion, all the Watermelon Stevens, the Pumpkin Dog that Peridot and Lapis have, one of the Crying Breakfast Friends, like a video game announcer, random townies, and citizens of Beach City. It's always really fun to get some weird, like, random one-time role with one line that you get to do whatever you want for.
So if he had a quote, what would you think he would say during, like, the TV show? Where, like, what is his major quote for actually Steven Universe?
Who specifically? Steven?
Steven, yeah.
Well, like, what is his most famous quote?
Like
or
his most famous quote that you could probably think of yourself.
It's got to be the, if every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs. That's the one that people seem to resonate with, because it's, it's very innocuous and a joke on the surface, but it's also got a really good message behind it. Like,
I would agree.
if everything were perfect, then we wouldn't have art, we wouldn't have beauty, and that's a really common theme that recurs on the show. So
I would agree with you.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Now,
it's from early in the show as well, so everybody that's seen a little bit knows it.
The reason I was asking that question specifically is translating that into being Billy Batson, which is Shazam. How is that different than working, say, as Steven from Steven Universe?
I mean, tone-wise, the shows are really different. Plus, I do a much more, character-y voice. Like, Steven's up here, and it sounds a lot different from my actual voice. Whereas for Billy Batson, I generally am doing something relatively close to my own register. And, DC Comics, their general tone, it's a little more, realistic, dark, subdued, which I love doing stuff like that. It's just nice to be able to do a lot of varieties of tones and shades of things. And for Shazam, it's like the added awesomeness of playing a superhero.
Well, that makes sense. Do you have a favorite as far as like any of the characters that you've done?
I mean, Steven's sort of my de facto favorite, just because it's been a really interesting case study to play the same character, not just for 7 years. That's a third of my lifetime. So I grew up as Steven was growing up, and he's aged as I've aged, and that's a really unique way to evolve a character over time, over the timeline that I've had him. So that's a big one to me. There's also a play I did in LA in 2015 called Fireman, which I played a role that was only one scene, but the scene was like 22 minutes long, and it's by far the darkest, most graphic thing I've ever done. It dealt with some really disturbing, graphic themes, and it was a really important story to tell. And I had sort of fallen out of love with acting for a little while around that time, and that really reignited something for me. So that one holds a special place in my heart as well.
Another question I have in doing what you guys do, how did you actually get your start?
So I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I started taking singing lessons, and I think there was a musical going on at the college that I was taking the lessons at from a student there, and you had to be 8 and up to audition. I was 7. She's like, no, let him do it anyway. It was The Music Man, the famous musical. I auditioned for Winthrop, like Wells Fargo wagon is a coming, the classic thing, and he has a lisp, so I just really enjoyed like over-exaggerating that and like spitting a lot, because I didn't know what I was doing at the time. And then it ended up being my first role, and then I ended up doing plays all over St. Louis and got an agent there, and within 2 years I had gotten my first meeting with an agent in LA, and it was just this it's a long story and a lot of like fortunate coincidence after fortunate coincidence, and some sort of divine intervention, I think. But I've been doing it for 13 years, so I'm blessed.
We were super excited to have you out here.
Yeah,
and
here,
I'm very glad that you came out and actually, get to hang out with your fans this weekend. Now, I know that you're into music and you have some more projects going on. Do you have a website that we can go to help support what you do?
I do. Best way for me is social media, Instagram and Twitter.com/Zach Callison. ZachCallison.com is up, and I got some merchandise for the music up there. I'm on a bit of a sabbatical right now, but we're working on some new music and a new tour and some record label stuff for 2019, so that's going to be a main focus for me, as well as the Steven Universe stuff. We got the movie coming out and all that. So
well, yes, sir. Thank you so much. I know you didn't have a lot of time today, but I would really
squeezing me in.
Hey, what? Serious, man. I huge fan with what you do. Come check out what he does here at LotusComics.com. We'll see you here real soon, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.